toilet paper. Not an especially cutting-edge piece of technology, nor a very stunning cultural artifact. So you might wonder, right, why am I starting a talk on technoculture with pretty plain roll of toilet paper? It all started with the Rix Museum. They decided to bring their collection of Dutch masters online, make it available for everyone for free and in high resolution. And there was a quote from their collection director that struck me. He said, if they, meaning the public, want to have a Vermeer on their toilet paper, I'd rather they have a very high-quality image of Vermeer than a very bad reproduction. So apart from the slightly provocative tone, that personally I quite enjoy, the underlying belief is what really resonated with me and with us at the Culture Institute. Because what this gentleman is saying is that culture and art is not something that should stay within the climate control walls of a museum, as beautiful as it may be, but something that should be accessible to everyone, that should be shared, and that people should really make their own, to do whatever they want with. Obviously, the toilet paper printing is a bit of an extreme example, but you get the idea. So accessibility of culture is really what's at the heart of the Culture Institute and why we created it at Google. Here, many of you might recognize the ceiling of Opéra Garnier. We partner with Opéra Garnier to capture this ceiling. It's a wonderful work of art from Marc Chagall. It was painted in 1964. Quite massive, 240 square meters. The only issue is that it's about 20 meters or so above your head when you're sitting in Garnier, so not exactly easy to get a good look at and really enjoy. So we partner with Garnier and we say, okay, how can we capture that in super high definition? So we have this nice technology called Gigapixel. Basically, we had a team of 5 people spending 3 whole days, 3 whole nights, taking thousands and thousands of pictures, and then putting them together with some pretty advanced software to get one full image. We managed to digitally remove the pretty massive chandelier that you see in the middle, so that people can now, on the laptop, on the tablet, whatever, enjoy the painting and see it with a level of details that pretty much no one has had access to since 1964. So for example, you see on the top right corner of the painting this little blue area. I don't know if you can see it very well. And there's this window in there. I'm not even sure you could, with a naked eye, see that there's a face of a man in there. But with Gigapixel, you can zoom as much as you want. And then you realize this gentleman there, I don't know if you would recognize him, is actually André Malraux, or Chagall's version of André Malraux. Why Malraux? Because Malraux was a minister of culture in the 60s, right at the time, and he's the one who commissioned Chagall to do this artwork. So this is a nice tribute, if you want, of Chagall to Malraux. So, not only is art and culture more accessible, but you can actually enjoy it differently. It's also important for teachers and students because you can get more background, you can go more in depth. So that's something that we're really excited about. I'm going to share one last example of accessibility, which is not one of ours. That's the Rix Museum, who actually set up this iBeacon technology. They put little sensors, Bluetooth wireless sensors everywhere in the museum. And when you walk in a museum, what do you usually have in your pocket or in your purse? A smartphone. So they're using the sensors to push notification to the public smartphones. That way, when you're wandering around, you actually get, notification, quizzes, you can get X-ray views on some of the paintings. So it actually changes the way people experience culture. It's way more interactive, it's way more immersive, and personally, I found it less intimidating also. Especially if you're looking at, old Dutch painting, you might not be so familiar with all the painters and the history and the background and stuff. Here you get all the information. So it really changes the way people experience culture. So we've seen an example from the Culture Institution. Now, if we look at the public, right, you and I, here's a picture taken in the Louvre in front of Mona Lisa. I'm sure it's your usual Sunday afternoon gig, right? So there's this big trend of museum selfies. You can see this charming young lady in an orange top taking herself in picture in front of Mona Lisa. And you see other people actually taking, just pictures with a smartphone. You may not know, but people spend on average 15 seconds, only 15 seconds, in front of Mona Lisa. So that's an interesting question also, like what kind of experience of culture do you have? And in that specific case, is technology helping, or is it actually technology getting in the way, right? I think, that's a fair question, and not everything, around technology is that positive or negative, right? There is some hope. Street art, which, as you will see, is a project very dear to us, is one example of art, an art form where technology was super helpful. Because consumers realize that it's a very ephemeral art by definition. It's there today on a wall, it might be gone tomorrow. So people are starting capturing that with their smartphone. As I said, everybody's now carrying a smartphone pretty much, means you have a camera in your pocket. So taking picture of that, which is a way not only of preserving it, but then sharing it, going viral. Here you see Banksy, who's a huge street artist, that basically, wouldn't have known that kind of success before internet, because it's people that actually discovers art, went viral, and it helped create the whole stuff. So as you see, it's not all black or white. There's a lot of positive stuff coming also from consumers. I'm going to show you a quick video of something we've done on the Culture Institute on the Street Art Project. You'll pay specific attention to Tour Paris 13, which is a tower that has been recently destroyed. We captured that with Street View technology. So we basically captured the whole inside of the tour, and now you can actually, with your laptop or your tablet, you can actually go around, just walk around as if the building still existed, which is not the case anymore. So you've seen some screenshot of Tour Paris 13, quite beautiful. So we've shared a few recent examples, but if we take a slightly longer-term perspective, and which we do as we think about culture, I like to think about internet as a kind of the new wave of technological revolution that has had an impact on culture. If you think about the major technological revolution, like writing and printing, they've had very profound impact on culture, right? On the way you gather wisdom and knowledge, the way you share art, the way you create art, all that has been profoundly transformed. And I like to think that actually internet is kind of the new wave of that, and we're just at the beginning. What's very interesting, we're starting to see the line between technology and culture and art blurring. And we see actually technology becoming a media for art. This is quite unusual work of art I'm very fond of. It's a wonderful young lady called Adriana Remick, who is an artist in residence. So she's basically spending a few months with us at the Culture Institute. And she used technology to create this work of art. What did she do? She basically took ants and recording their walking pattern on a touch keyboard. Random pattern, right, of ants walking around. And then she used that with, obviously, technology and software to translate that into letters and words that then she translated into 80 languages and create a work of art that explored the concept of randomness and order, nature and technology. So quite unusual, obviously, kind of work of art that wouldn't have happened before technology. Another visually stunning example is the Dev Art exhibition at Barbican. So here it's even one step further. Technology is not just a way to get access to culture, it's actually technology and coding, which in general is quite a functional tool. That's what our engineers back home use to write software. Coding here becomes the true media for art. So it was a global call-out for young artists, and they used code, and they actually code and developed some pretty stunning digital art. There was the winners being exposed at the Barbican. And the last example I'm going to share with you, which is one very close to my heart, is cardboard. So you might have heard about that. So here you can see basically what it is. It's a piece of cardboard with two little plastic lens and a magnet. You put your smartphone in there, and for a few dollars, so that's extremely cheap, that's the whole idea, you basically transform your pretty standard but nice smartphone into a 3D viewer. And why do we care, about culture and art? You saw earlier some street view from Tour Paris 13. The Opéra Garnier, which I showed earlier, is also captured in street view. There is, Château de Versailles, number of monuments and stuff. So now with this simple tool, which you could easily imagine spreading to many people because it's pretty much free, you can be at home and you can really enjoy and feel like you're walking around these places that you don't necessarily have a chance to go to. So here, in terms of accessibility and immersive experience of culture, it's really one step ahead. And I'm really excited about that one. So, in conclusion, the one thought I'd like to leave you with is really the impact of technology on culture, and especially on the younger generation. Last night, I had the chance to spend the evening with a few of YouTube creators, so quite different from the Culture Institute, slightly more lowbrow culture. Still, I was really impressed. All this young generation, maybe not as young as the children on screen, but not much older for some of them, managed to make culture their own, take existing stuff, reinterpret it, create some really new, original culture. And if culture is really a way of making everyone, every single one of us, culture actors and creators, then I'm deeply proud to play a tiny part in that technoculture. Thank you.